What's going on, everybody? Andrew Thompson here of the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. Joining me today is a very special guest. She's coming off a breakout 2021. She has been doing some great things. She's debuted back in 2018, and she also has a legit background in Taekwondo and kickboxing. So if you ever thinking about testing her patience, I would highly advise you to think twice. This is Janai Kai. Janai, how you feeling today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. But before we get into it, there's something I want to ask you. Whenever I see some of your matches, I always say to them, introduce you from Washington, D.C. I grew up in the area from my childhood to my teenage years. First, I just wanted to ask you, like, what was life like growing up for Janai Kai in Washington, D.C.?
Well, it was pretty crazy because my dad was in the military. So yeah, we just ended up staying in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. But I mainly grew up in Virginia where I went to school and everything. And then I slowly, like after high school, I slowly like branching out to like over in Maryland and DC and just staying around that area. So it's been pretty crazy, but I love it. I love the area so much.
And I just want to tell you, I think your name is like really cool. Like I don't know if that's like a variation of your real name or you just came up with it, but Janai Kai, that's a cool name. I just want to tell you that. That was just a random thing that popped up in my head.
Fuck you. Yeah. So yeah, Janai is my real name, and
Okay.
I kind of got Kai from Cobra Kai, like way before Cobra Kai started getting like very popular. I was really into like just Kai, so I was like, let me just put the two together.
Mm. And so for those of us, for those people who are watching, because I do have a lot of people that a lot of friends and family that tune into my interviews. Like if you had to recommend one spot from the DMV area, it could be DC, Maryland, or Virginia, one food spot that you think everybody should be checking out, which place would that be?
A food spot I would have to say is Belly Bowl for sure.
Mm,
That's like one spot you can't miss when you go to DC.
mm.
Where else really? It really depends what you're into too, because DC has like so many different types of cultures and all of that. So if you like, I love going to the ramen spots here too. Like there's a lot of good ramen spots. Um, there's some like good Indian spots. So it really depends what you're into.
Because if you ever get a chance, it's this one place over in Northwest. It's called Highlands. It's like the best breakfast place I've ever had in my life. Like
Ooh, yeah,
it's never like too packed, but it's worth it. It's worth the wait. I
yeah.
promise you, it's definitely worth the wait. But like Janai, you have had, like I mentioned, you had a breakout 2021. You had a lot of good things going for you last year. Have you really had the chance to sit back and reflect on what you've done over the past year, or have things just been like on go mode 24/7?
I sort of got the chance to do that, but not really just totally sit and like take in everything. Um, but I have thought about it, especially because like we're going into the new year. So I'm trying to like figure out, all right, where am I leaving 2021 at? Where am I heading? Like what is this kind of hinting? Like what path am I heading towards? So I have been thinking a little bit about that, but yeah, like you said, it's been on like the go mode right now.
Mm.
So yeah, I haven't really like sat down and really took everything in.
Right. And speaking of 2020, 2022, of course, we're in the new year. I know on January 1st, you and Yoya got the band back together. YoKai is back for
Yeah.
the new year.
Yeah.
To tell me about how that team sort of started and the in-ring chemistry with you and Yoya and you know, just the overall balance that you two have as a team.
So me and Yoya, we actually go out. So we like when we started like training and everything, we didn't have the idea of tagging, but I think it all came together. Like we wanted to do this, gosh, it was more towards like the end of 2020 when we really thought about actually coming together. And it started at Paradigm Pro Wrestling, where
Mm,
we had our first tag match together. And we thought like, oh, like our names combined together already creates a cool name, which is YoKai. All right, let's go with it. Let's see where it goes. And there's not many like intergender tag teams around, so we thought it would be cool to like even more to come together as that. But yeah, we had our first match for this year at JCW, and it was great. I love working with Yoya.
mm. And like just from you two, like I've seen a few of your matches together. It seems like you two always like really click in the ring. Like I have a very good understanding of one another. Does that also come from outside the ring friendship that you two have gone on to establish?
Yeah, we actually been going out for 8 years. It's gonna be 9 years this year.
That's
So
cool.
we've been
That's
going
cool.
out for a while. We know each other like way too well. Way too well. We know our strengths, our weaknesses, our everything, what we're thinking. Like so when it comes to like in the ring, we get each other like without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. And another cool opportunity that I know you had last year was for the Combat Fights Unlimited promotion. Like it's very like a shoot style, like
Mm-hmm.
grappling, very like strike based type of promotion. I feel like that's something that's like right in your
Yeah.
wheelhouse. So sort of reflect on that experience and sort of talk about like how like basically how that opportunity came to be, and also within the same vein, just how you adapted to it and just the overall experience there.
So Combat Fights Unlimited, this was actually supposed to be going on like before the pandemic started, I believe, or it was during, but we didn't know it was gonna be happening, obviously. So we had to postpone that and we had it start last year. I believe it was like early last year, almost mid last year. But
Mm,
it's a great experience overall. It's really started with just trying to find women who have a shoot background. And to me, this is very, very important to me. Like I really, really feel strongly about it because this is something that you don't see from women in wrestling all the time. You usually see one or two women in the ring really doing some shoot stuff or showing like a little bit of martial arts background. But now that women's wrestling is really growing, there are a lot more women out there who do have that martial arts background. And including me, I love to showcase that for the opportunity to showcase that if you have that background.
right.
And now we're heading into our third show, and we already have a champion. It's Masha
Yeah.
Slamovich, and me and her already had a couple battles already. So, yeah, it's really growing into something special, and it's giving opportunities even to other women who also have like a little bit of a martial arts background, maybe want to try it out. So we're very into other women of different styles.
Mm. And I think it's really cool, like the way those shows are presented. Like the matches are short, but it's more like sort of based in reality a little bit. Like it's really cool the way that this presented and the way that it's shot and the way like they
Mhm.
guys do like the cage matches and stuff. It is a really unique presentation, and I think a lot of people would be very interested if they were to go
Yeah.
check it out. And you mentioned Masha Slamovich as well. That's you guys' champion. I know you faced her as well. That was your most recent
Yeah.
match, I would say, for the promotion.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, okay. And did you enjoy working with Masha? Like, did you guys sort of have that sort of in ring chemistry?
Yeah, I love Masha so much, and
Mm,
she was actually over in Japan for a whole year,
yeah.
and she's grown so much since then. It's crazy. And she had a crazy, crazy year last year too, just stop. So with me and her in the ring, we do have that chemistry, and um, she's been working really hard as far as her own shoot background goes.
Hmm.
And so with her like more catch wrestling background and my striking background, when you blend those two together, it just works out so well. So it's great working with her.
Mm. And Janai, I feel like you have a very unique presentation, like just on screen and in the ring. Of course, your look, the hairstyle, the different color ring gear and stuff like that, the face paint. I feel like that adds like a whole different layer to what you present on top of what you do in the ring. Is that something that has always been very important to you and something that you feel like helps you differentiate from the rest of the package that you sort of have like the other complete package outside of just what you do inside of the ring?
Yeah, it is important to me. And I am starting to play more with like the face paint, see where that goes for me. And yeah, I just want to make again my style very special overall with the presentation and with how I move around in the ring.
Mm,
I usually like to think that my gear is actually more simple than others. It's not too flashy, it's not too distracting. It's kind of like right in the middle, sort of. And I like to keep it that way where it's not too flashy because I want people to really pay attention more to my wrestling rather than how great my gear looks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in that sense, it is important, but I also want to make sure I don't distract too much
Right.
away from my style.
Right. For sure, for sure. Something else that I really wanted to talk to you about, which I think was really cool, was it was the Black Girl Magic show that happened in June 2021. I believe that's when
Mhm.
that's when it happened. The likes of yourself, Trisha Dora, Jazz, Willow Nightingale, so many Black women, man, came to the show and presented the show that you guys did, and it just felt like coming out of it, like you guys knew what you had accomplished, and it felt special. Like you could sort of feel that watching the show. Like, was it sort of that? Am I sort of on point with that? Like you guys felt that sense of you guys felt like you accomplished something special coming out of that.
Yeah, most definitely. And if anyone watches the show, you can see how there are different styles represented within our community. So this is like a great show to present that, to showcase that, and to really put more eyes on Black women in wrestling. So I definitely recommend those who haven't seen it to watch it. And I know for sure that we're going to be coming back this year.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be looking forward to that, including myself. Like, but just from your perspective, like, what do you think some things what would have been some of the positive experiences that you've had, being a Black woman in wrestling, and then also on top of that, what do you think would sort of list some of the things that you think could change or be better for Black women in wrestling, for women in general in professional wrestling, that you think could be just vastly improved on, or could be worked on in the coming months and years as women continue to take the forefront in professional wrestling?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I've been thinking about this like very hard myself because recently there's been a lot of talk about it again. I mean, it pops up all the time when it comes to like Black women in wrestling or just Black athletes in wrestling in general. And I've been really trying to take a look at myself and who I am and what I represent.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, and other people have mentioned this to me. There's not a lot of people that look like me, and there's a lot of people that can't really figure me out and what I am. And I am Afro Latina,
Right.
and like to other people, like they can't really see it, but at the same time, I am representing like Black. I do have that background, but I also have the Latina side. So I'm
Right.
really trying to figure out how I can represent it really well. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm doing okay with it. I'm just trying to learn a little bit more about how I can represent it even more,
Mm-hmm.
and still trying to learn more about the history of just being an Afro Latina. So I'm working on it myself, and I'm trying to learn from others and others in the wrestling industry who are representing it really well and following their lead. And I think what is just being around them, being part of these shows, and really learning more about myself in that way.
And I, I don't think it's like even a simple thing to do to even find out like how to like I guess with like within your inner self, how you think you are properly representing something. I don't feel like it's ever like even just a
Yeah,
simple thing, because even for
yeah,
Black performers, for performers of color in general, I don't think that you guys have the privilege to just like go out there and just like perform and that's it. Like you're thinking about how you represent yourself, how you represent your culture, how you represent this and that, and it's like all these other things mixed in one. And then on top of that, you got to worry about your
yeah,
performance. I don't think it's ever that simple for Black wrestlers, for wrestlers of color in general. I don't think it ever be that simple. But I think
yeah,
just
yeah,
as we progress and just as things sort of pick up in professional wrestling, and it's still strides that need to be made. Like it's nowhere near 100%, not even close. But I feel like there have been the proper strides made, and of course we're seeing like all women's wrestling promotions. Like I mean, it's been all women's wrestling promotions for a while, but like we're seeing like a promotion like Mission Pro Wrestling that's coming up, and that's Thunder Rosa making some real plays with that, and we got
yeah,
promotions like even in the area that we're in, like we got like Flying V, and you got Fight Club in DC. Primetime Pro Wrestling used to be a thing here, so it seems like things really are starting to, I would say over the last several years or so, as far as diversity goes, are starting to increase and pick back up and pick up in professional wrestling. But
hmm
again, I think we're shown time and time again that it's like the fight per se is way far from over.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big process, and I think we're there, and I think 2022 is gonna be that year we're gonna get there even more. I just had that feeling about it.
Mhm.
So I definitely agree with you on that.
And something I mentioned, have you had the opportunity to compete in the DC or Maryland area yet? Like I mentioned, we got Flying V and Fight Club and Primetime Pro Wrestling used to be a thing here. I'm pretty sure some promotions and farther out Maryland and in Virginia as well. Like, have you ever had the opportunity to compete here in the area yet?
Yeah, I actually got to do Flying V not
Okay.
too long ago. Um, I believe the show's supposed to be coming out soon, but there's another show coming at the end of this month of January, and I will be a part of that as well. So I'll
Okay.
be coming back to Flying V. The first one, I wrestled Trisha Dora, and I love Trish so much.
Hmm.
Like, when that show comes out and that match comes out, I'm sure everyone will just love it to death. So yeah, I can't wait for the next show for sure. But that's the only show I've done in the area.
Okay. Okay. And I know you wrestled Trish for Ring of Honor for their Women's Division Wednesday series too. So that'd be like a cool thing for you guys to be able to have two sort of bodies of work for you guys' matches. But one match of yours that I really did
Yeah.
like as well, it was the one that you had against Chelsea Green for the Women's Division Wednesday as well for Ring of Honor. Like I don't know what it was because I had seen the match when it initially came out, but I went back and watched it last night doing prep for the interview. And like I feel like you and Chelsea, like
Mhm.
I don't know what it was, but y'all seem like to really understand each other and like understand each other's positioning and different movements and stuff like that. Like, was that your first time wrestling her? And like, what do you think? What was the reason for you guys to be able to click so well? Because it seemed like right out of the gate, you guys sort of like really understood each other. Like it was a cool thing to witness.
Oh, well, thank you for noticing that because actually, we actually haven't wrestled each other, but she was at my first ever training class. So she
Okay.
saw me like do my first rolls, my first bump, like everything. So she's been seeing me grow, and she's actually that like she's like very proud and like of seeing how far I've came. So she definitely knows me in that sense. But yeah, we actually haven't been in the ring having a match on a show before. So it was crazy. But yeah, the chemistry with her is crazy, and she's just great to work with.
Mhm. And something I really like from your like in ring style, like I don't know how often you do it. I only seen you do it like a couple times just from the matches I've seen you from. You like you do this like the stutter kick. Like I don't know how people make this look so cool. Like it's like when you do the kick and you like pause in the air and then like shoot it back out. Like I think that stuff is like really cool. Is that something like a part of your is that something like that's a part of your like normal arsenal? Like I think I seen you do it like at a Paradigm Pro Wrestling show. I think it was, and I think it just always looks really cool whenever I see wrestlers do the stutter kick.
So the stutter kick, do you mean like the rapid fire ones,
Yeah,
or
no,
which one did you?
so it's like when I think a similar one is when like when Luchasaurus does it in AEW. I think that's like an example. That's like the example that just came to my head. But like it's like when you lift your foot up and then like you
Mhm.
pause your foot like in the air as if you're about to kick the person. Then you like just
Oh,
it it just looks cool. Like it's difficult to explain, but it's like really cool looking. And I was
yeah.
always curious about how our wrestlers like do that. Like is that just like you think that's like your background that like helps you uh pull that move off and make it look so
Yeah.
smooth?
Yeah, so I try to squeeze that in here and there in different matches. But that's when I actually think about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do that. But that really came from my Taekwondo background.
Right.
So I always like to implement all of my backgrounds in, and that's like how Taekwondo really was like balancing kicks, holding your foot up in the air, like precision wise when it came to all of that. So it's more techniques when it comes to Taekwondo, and I love to always try and showcase that in my match somehow.
Mhm. And we just mentioned Paradigm Pro Wrestling. I gotta ask you about the UWFI rules match that you had with Jordan Blade. You guys are very similar in some ways and very different. And I feel like you guys' styles match up really well. Any fond memories from that match with Jordan from the UWFI rules match?
Yeah, so for the first UWFI show that we did, yeah, so we already had that connection as I don't know what it was, but I think with knowing that we were from like kind of the same area, like
Yeah.
DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and then like I don't know, our personalities just like bounce off really well to each other. So I've actually grown to know her more throughout the year last year,
Mm.
and we've actually like ended up wrestling each other like maybe 20 times last year. So yeah, it's just been crazy overall with that, but with the UWFI matches, like I think even the last one, um we just get better and better, like just knowing each other when it
Mm.
comes to our backgrounds. And I just actually really enjoy it because it's always something different with her, and it's always like something just like I can't do it with other people in the ring.
Mm.
I can just do it with her. So I just just a privilege just to work with Jordan, and she's just had a hell of a year too.
Yeah.
So I know for sure we're gonna be wrestling each other so many more times again
Uh-oh.
this year. But yeah, it's great, and the UWFI rules is very different as it is, and we we actually make it just really easy for ourselves when we do it. It looks very hard to do as far as the match style goes and the rules, but it's our thing. Like it's
Mm.
like around our specific style, so we're already comfortable with it.
Mm. And I my first time seeing Jordan was at that the promotion, the primetime pro wrestling promotion in DC that I had mentioned to you. And I remember when I first walked in, I was setting up about to do some interviews, and I seen Jordan chilling. And at the time, I wasn't familiar with her. I didn't know she was a wrestler. She was just chilling in the back. And I remember when I seen her come out, and she had a match with Eel O'Neill, and I can't remember who they faced, but I was like really
Mhm.
impressed. She's like really talented, man. Like she's like a legit grappler. Like she's very like
Mhm.
entertaining
Yeah.
to watch, man. So
Hmm.
I
Oh
can only
yeah.
imagine like just as you guys continue to go on, like how better your chemistry is, and how like more developed your matches get as you guys just continue to face each other. I'm pretty sure that's a cool
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah, thank you for like clarifying that because that's exactly what I mean. Like I just can't wait to
mm,
produce even more with her.
mm. And sort of going back to Ring of Honor, I know you were only there for like a very short period of time. It was a short stint, but like just speak to sort of the camaraderie that Maria Kanellis-Bennett and Bobby Cruz sort of established with the women's division, because it really seemed like, and just from what I hear in interviews and stuff like that, it really seems like that was like a tight knit group right there. And Maria Kanellis and Bobby Cruz made sure to make like they basically made sure that like it was like a family. So I don't know how much you can speak to that, but like just from your experiences there, was it sort of like that tight knit, group and slash locker room?
Yeah, so from what I can say, so the first day when I got there, we had a full because this was legit after the cuts happened that I
Mm.
was there. And so it was already kind of like that type of situation where we don't know what's going on, and then
Right.
I'm new, and then I don't know what's going on with like how they're going to be treating like the women's division and what's going to be moving forward. So like the first day, like when I got there was like a full meeting with the women only, and Maria was there, Bobby was there. So they were just talking overall about like just different things, like they don't know where things are heading, but it really did seem like it was a tight family, and I felt welcomed. Like everyone
That's
just
cool.
had this special kind of love. And it was a very like emotional moment too, as like you're going around and sharing different things and different stories, and just, really hoping that this is not, the end of all of them together. Yeah, I kind of felt that for sure.
Mm.
But it's unfortunate, but at the same time, we hope that like this is like definitely not going to be something that is just over with, because the women's division was really building up to something
Yeah,
special in Ring of
man.
Honor finally, where it kind of seemed um something more of a focus, and we really have to thank Maria for that too. And by Maria really she feels very strongly about this. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I overall just like the experience there. just being around them. They really made it feel very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And I had heard from Matt Taven. He had done an interview. He was like at that, and like for a while at the I think it was that last set of tapings that you guys were a part of, and he was just like the women's division were like just the heart and soul of the tapings. He was like, you guys are like very just upbeat, like even though the situation, you know, had came, like we knew that Ring of Honor was going to be closing down until April 2022. He was like, you guys are just like upbeat. Like he's like it was like Bobby Cruz and Maria had like some meeting or something like that, and you guys came out of that meeting just very like, you know, peppy and just like, you know, real positive. And like, even though it was like sort of that gloom and gloom feeling around, like, but he was like, you guys really made things, the environment and the overall feel of that last set of tapings just very, very positive. So I'm pretty sure that's a nice thing to know, that you guys sort of lifted the spirits of everybody in there at a time of such uncertainty.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, I felt that too, like with the last set of tapings. Just all of the women really, they have all of the passion in the world. So, and they put it all in the ring, and it just shows completely. If you go back and watch those matches, like the women's division Wednesday matches and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things were like starting to. I feel like things were like really starting to, of course, I think they already were like really going forward when they crowned the first ROH Women's World Champion. But like I feel like things really started to pick back up, like when we started seeing like the NWA Tag Team Champions come in, and it was like a mix. And like I know a lot of people were like, when Deonna Purrazzo came in, it was like now at all times. So like I think hopefully Ring of Honor could come back in April 2022, because I think it's a lot of good things coming from them. Hopefully. But like I know not too long ago, you had the chance to wrestle Thunder Rosa in her Mission Pro Wrestling promotion. So to speak about the match you had with Thunder, and also at the same time, like we just talked about with the ROH Women's Locker Room, I know Thunder Rosa has like a pretty tight-knit group there at Mission Pro Wrestling, and it's like she has like a solid core group of people, and they're all about uplifting women and uplifting each other and sort of moving the business forward. Could you sort of get that feel while you were there?
Oh yeah, 100%. And being like part of that locker room, the whole experience overall was just very, very professional, very welcoming. It was definitely like a family right off the bat. It was just kind of crazy just to even like experience it that way, because I haven't really experienced like locker rooms in that way. It's always just been like, all right, just show up. Okay, you're good. You already wrestled, leave. We'll pay you. Like it's like it's not like just being over there. It was just like we were all like kind of like, it was just way too tight in a sense. Like it was definitely like a family. And Rosa really like, I know it's obvious that she feels strongly about women's wrestling, but it like from the beginning to the end, it's just been like I felt that and I believed it, and I believe that Mission Pro is really heading to like maybe even like a top type of promotion in the future, if it keeps going on this way, because it's just way too special. And being around the woman there is kind of like the same type of situation when I was at Ring of Honor, but like it's these women that are just starting out. So at Ring of Honor, most of those women already kind of had like that face, like they already have been places. But over in Mission Pro, it's mainly women that are just kind of like starting out. They're like, we're all kind of like around the same range when it comes to how many years in that we've been doing this. So we're all trying to build and to try, and we're trying to, you know, make a name for ourselves. So being in Mission Pro is that stage for us to learn and to develop each other. So I appreciate that, because there's not many promotions like that, especially all women's promotions. And it's great. And they already started traveling. They're not staying in one spot. So the fact that they're new and all women's promotion and already traveling, that's great. That's better than most that have been around for a while. So I know for sure this year there's going to be a lot more craziness. There's just craziness in a good way. Like just great stuff coming from Mission Pro. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to actually coming back like in the future, because this is a very special thing going on.
Yeah, and I think Mission Pro is sort of like really not even sort of. I think they are establishing themselves like alongside the Rises of the world and the Shimmers. Like I really do think that they like are sort of increasing or inching closer to that level, especially when you look at the talent that come through there. And like one thing I really like about Mission Pro is the fact that there is like a solid core base of people that you will always see on that. It's like that core group of talents. Like, and I think that's good to sort of have that within the locker room. So when new talents come in, it's like you already have a sense of what it's like there. And I think that's a really good thing going forward. And like you mentioned, I think one of the most important things is that they're traveling. Like that's big right there. And I think that's going to attract, I say it's going to attract a lot of people, and also maybe attract like maybe some streaming deals. I know they're on Title Match Network. So yeah, I think Mission Pro on the up and up right now, man. It's gonna be cool to see where they at like 3 years from now. But I also wanted to ask you about your Bloodsport experience. I think you wrestled at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. What was that, WrestleMania weekend last year, Tampa?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Tampa.
Yeah. Okay. So sort of tell me about that experience, and I know we got Dallas coming up this year, the Texas area. Are you going to be in Dallas? And maybe just, there's a hope possibly that you'll be on this year's Bloodsport event if there is one. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. So Bloodsport last year was just an overall crazy experience because, well, from what I've seen, like I've been wanting to work for Bloodsport, but like be like the whole atmosphere in Tampa where it was like outside, everybody was just very much into what was going on. And again, going back to how I feel about the shoot style of wrestling and how important it is to me, that felt very special to know that people are into what was going on. And me and KZT were like the opening match too. So being an opening match, being women who are doing this, I was really hoping that we did get that type of attention in a sense, to where like they do realize like, dang, like there are actually women who can like really go hard and really showcase themselves in this style. So yeah, overall, like it was just a great experience. And I actually got to go over to the Bloodsport in LA recently that happened because Yoya was a part of it. And that one was just really good too. Like it's a style that you need to get used to watching. Like not everyone's used to it still just yet. But it's getting very creative to where like now there's more athletes being a part of this, and they're making it just very fun overall to watch, and making it very different. So yeah, Bloodsport's great, and I know for sure, for Mania, I hope I'm a part of it, and I know that more women want to be a part of it too. So hopefully we see more women on the cards too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And you want to know what? Like I think Bloodsport and just grappling and matches in general, I think it just sets a different tone. It sets a different pace as well. And I think the crowd is always interested to see stuff like that because it just differentiates from some of the other stuff that you might see on the card. And like with Bloodsport, it's just a different take on professional wrestling mixed with MMA, mixed with all these different backgrounds. And I think that the reason that people are so invested in it is because simply it's just that different. And like we see sort of the traditional style of wrestling so often that when we see something different, it's like, oh, that's really cool. Like even at the Wrestle Kingdom show that Shibata had like it was supposed to be like a catch rules match, but it turned into a professional wrestling, a traditional match. But it was just more so of like just grappling, mat based, strikes, and it was different from everything else on the card. And I think that's like harkening back to Bloodsport. I feel like that's what makes that so different. And as far as you go in your matches, like I think that's what sort of makes you stand out from the pack, on top of like we mentioned earlier with the gear and the face paint and that stuff. So I think you have a unique package overall and a good presentation. So I'm excited to see what you do in 2022. It should be is it possible to have 2 breakout years in a row? Is that possible? Is that a thing?
I think it is possible because honestly, that was just a little bit of a taste of me. Like that wasn't even anything. Like I was thinking about that too, like going back to thinking about really sitting as to like what happened, taking
Mhm.
everything in. Honestly, that wasn't even anything. Like if for 2022, like give me more time on TV, like with AEW. Like
Here we go.
give me more of that
Here we
time.
go.
Give me more of that time because like that wasn't anything to be
Mm,
honest.
yeah.
Like there's a lot more like up my sleeve that I have. So yeah, I'm excited too. I'm really excited.
And sort of like you had mentioned it off the point that I made about having time to like sit and reflect. Is it kind of crazy like when you think about like even like when you were in like grade school or in high school and to like think where you are right now and like think how much time has passed like what like I know you said you don't really get the time to like really sit and reflect, but like as we are in this moment right now, isn't it kind of crazy
Yeah.
like how you think about where you were even 5, 6, 7 years
Mm-hmm.
ago and to look at where you are right now? I know it's probably one of those things where you like, damn, like it's
Yeah, because it happened so fast. It happened very quickly because when
mm,
um so before I started training, I was over here back home
mm,
and I was training for a kickboxing fight. And that kickboxing fight didn't go through because my opponent pulled out the week of, so I couldn't have my fight. I left school. I was in school for fashion marketing, and
okay.
I left because they weren't paying attention to our department that much, and there was like a lot of different changes happening where I wasn't comfortable with it anymore. So I left, and so this was all just leading into, okay, I've been wanting to wrestle for the longest time, and I'm old enough to make my own decisions and to go wherever I want to. I have nothing holding me down. I have nothing to lose. Like,
Mm,
why not just go for it before I just regret not even trying it? So after the whole like thing like training for my fight happened, I was like, all right, this is just telling me to go try wrestling. And that's when in 2017, I moved over to Florida and I had like a bunch of money saved up already because I was working like 3 jobs over here and everything. So I was like, okay, I can easily just move in somewhere like with somebody who's looking for a roommate and like try out this wrestling thing and see where it goes. So this was in 2017. And
mm.
then in 2018, that's when I started doing more shows or just going pro in general. Um, and yeah, it's just crazy how much like how quick everything has happened since then.
Is it scary taking that risk? Like knowing that you like you dumping like this, you dumping everything into this. Like, is it scary? Like knowing like it could legit go either way.
It is, and I didn't realize it till I was actually sitting in the house in Florida, like how scary it is. Because I was just very motivated. I was very focused. So I wasn't thinking about how scary things can be. I was just like, no, I need to make this happen.
Right.
Like I need to go make like I don't want to like sit and think about it. I hate delaying. I hate thinking about things and like making that hold me back.
Mm.
So I was just really, really focused on just getting to where I need to go to next that I was thinking of. But then yeah, when I was in Florida, like sitting in the house, I was like, oh crap. Like I'm actually I'm actually by myself. Like I don't know anybody here. Like this is crazy. Like how am I gonna like function everything? Like
Right.
so yeah, it was, and I got a little homesick too. So
Of
that
course. Of
really
course.
was, yeah. So that was a big thing. But oh my gosh, yeah, to like just drop everything and with the whole school thing going on, like okay, like well, I was in college, but I didn't finish.
Mm.
But I learned from that. I didn't really think anything of it. I think what I know for sure was that my passion into like what I was studying in college wasn't there anymore. So
Right.
that kind of fell off. So I'm thankful that I got to be part of that and learn the things that I learned because now I can apply what I learned to wrestling. Because overall in wrestling, you're your own business. You're working for yourself in a sense. Once you start like wrestling on your own and traveling on your own. So I learned a lot of things in school actually when it comes to business, like
Mm.
in there, like how I can apply it into wrestling. So I'm thankful for that. So yeah, I think now I don't regret anything, to be honest. Like I
Right.
am very happy to where I am now.
It worked out pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made some good choices. It worked out. But when you were in Florida,
Yeah.
you trained under Santana Garrett, right?
Yep, I did.
So to tell me about some of the things that you were able to learn from her during your training that you realize now that you still keep with you to this day. Like some of the things that you learned from Santana that's like instinctively, like sometimes you're not even thinking about it, just things that like you can like things that come to your head that you know that you do because you learned from her.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything that she's taught, like even the business side of things.
Mm,
Like I was legit under a year in, and she was already teaching me about business and how to talk to promoters and how to send emails. Like, or she would tell me what to do with my social media, or tell me how to send an email out. So, I still keep that in mind because there's still people that don't even teach me about it. Like she was the only person who really taught me on how to do that.
mm,
So that was the biggest thing. And of course, when it came to wrestling, when it came to her classes, she would teach basics. So I'm thankful to have to know my fundamentals and my basics because she was the one that taught me that as well.
mm, mm. And like sort of moving away from wrestling for a little bit, like I know you do a little bit of streaming here and there on Twitch TV.
Yeah.
How fun is it to be able to stream? What games are you interested in, and do you sort of do like just all gaming streams, or do you sort of mix in like the Q&As and stuff like that with the people that watch?
So yeah, I mix it the both of them.
Mm,
So there's times when I just do like just chatting streams and we just talk and I let everyone know like, hey, I got anything, like I'll answer as we're just chatting it up, like with like random conversations or like watching videos together. So I kind of have streams like that, and then I have streams like just playing video games, but trying to answer people's questions, but like also just like focusing on the game at the same time and just having a good time overall. And usually I do those gaming streams at night, and then in the morning, if I'm doing like morning or afternoon streams, I do more just chatting streams. But they're so fun. I love streaming on Twitch because it gives me that second to just have to be in my own world and totally forget
yeah,
about everything else.
yeah.
Because you can legit do whatever you want on there, and everyone joins you, and just like there's people that um you can chat with that maybe you'll meet at a show, or they just come on here and they share like, hey Janai, like I was just at the show, or I just watched the show and like I loved it. Like they just come through and let me know that. So it's cool that they just like stop by my stream and even tell me things like that. And so I'm trying to build a little community there too.
Okay.
And for me, like I don't want to be like hyper focused on just being like a wrestler, because I am a martial artist as well. So I do have people of like the martial arts fan base who stop by too, and we like talk about martial arts or martial arts
Mm,
movies and stuff like that. So I'm trying to build that fan base together in a sense, because I also have like a Discord chat, so we chat on Discord too. And yeah, I just love it overall, just having that aside from wrestling.
mm. And you want to know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I remember I used to ask this question a lot. A lot during interviews. Like I think just over the past, mainly since the pandemic started, but I think it's been going on quite a while after that. But like you see a lot of wrestlers, they're starting to venture into things outside of professional wrestling. Like while they're still very much focused on wrestling, like that's their thing. They love it. They love what they love what they do. But also it's like I want to figure out how once this is done, how can what's the next thing, and what am I going to do after this? And I think we're seeing a lot of wrestlers, a lot of independent wrestlers, even too, like they're starting to branch into other things, whether that be Twitch, different businesses, clothing brands and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And I think that's cool, man. I think it's very, very cool. Just in anything, not even just wrestling, but to just not be not to focus just on one thing and let that one thing, because
Mhm.
if it unfortunately goes away, there's no backup plan, there's no fallback plan. And like I think that's really cool. Like even what you just said, like professional wrestling is something you love, you in it, like you in the thick of it right now. But it's also you also looking at outside ventures and things that you could do post wrestling. And I think that's a really cool mindset to have. And I'm really glad to see like a lot of independent wrestlers and wrestlers in general just starting to have that mindset. I think that's going to do wonders for the business, because we're going to see wrestlers who are just getting started look at you guys and be like, oh, so they doing like other stuff on the side on top of wrestling. So I might as well figure out something too.
Yeah, I'm a like that's very huge to me. Like it's very important to me to have something on the side, because wrestling's not forever, no matter
Yep.
like what people say. Anything can happen, something can happen tomorrow where you have to completely stop. And I try to push that on other wrestlers who are just starting out, because they come in with this mindset like, no, this is the only thing I need to do, and the only thing I
Yeah.
want to do. Like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to. I'm like, no, no, no. Like, this is not like what you're supposed to be thinking. Like, it may seem like it because
Right.
you're younger,
Right.
but no, like you're gonna realize that you should have something on the side. Like, and really think about, okay, what else am I good at? Because like, yeah, you might be good at wrestling, but to have something else that you're good at could add on to other things that you could possibly do and make money with. For example, like for me with my martial arts background, like I've done personal training where
That's cool.
I've trained clients one-on-one with like kickboxing, and right now I'm actually pursuing another goal, another dream that I have, which is um owning my own studio gym, because that's what I always wanted to do.
Very
So
cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
and like I just started over at this facility that's like a health and wellness rehab facility for athletes. And the owner is really open to my ideas and is going to help me get to that goal to where I could own my own location, like really help me step by step and hold my hand through it. So that's like another thing that I know for sure. Like if wrestling for whatever reason doesn't work out, I at least have that. And I would love to bring wrestlers over to my studio gym and do some work there. Like it's just, this could be something where wrestlers can also network with the other wrestlers who do have like that other like creative background or some other side thing that they do that they're also pursuing.
Right.
This is a great way to just network in that sense and really ask wrestlers like, how do they do it? How do they work that out? Because yeah, wrestling seems like it could get crazy, like the schedule can get hectic, but you do have that time during the week to really to really work on whatever else you want to work on. So it's just like the wrestling weekends, okay, you focus on your wrestling, and then throughout the week focus on everything else you can focus on. Like don't be 150% just wrestling in your brain, because that's gonna take a toll on you and you're gonna get really, really hard on yourself. And believe me, like I've been through that too, where I just think about wrestling, how it's better. Like that's all I'm thinking about. But it's like, all right, hold on a second. Like, let me look around where I'm at right now. Like really take in the moment, and then really like just realize like I have to focus on other things like for a second, because that you can't just have that take up your whole day. It can get really unhealthy.
Yeah. It sounds like you're on the cusp of something. I think you should keep keep that idea in your head, and I think you should keep rolling with it, man. It seems like you really are on the brink of something that's special that you have. Like you sort of already, that ain't even sort of, you really do got it mapped out like all the way in your head already, because the way you just I could tell what you were just saying. That wasn't even like a planned thought. You were just like letting it roll. So like I think it's good that you already have those like internal plans within yourself. But like you sort of mentioned it earlier about the AEW Rampage match that you had with Jade Cargill. It was a quick one. It was a quick one, and that's okay. It was a quick one. It was a quick one. But like at the same time, I'm pretty sure that national TV exposure, you being on TNT, is never a bad thing. I'm pretty sure that helped boost social media following, and I'm also pretty sure that it helped get more eyes on you when you got back to the independent scene.
Yeah, and this is actually another thing I learned from Santana, is that when you know you're not going to get a lot of time, make the most of it.
Yep.
And so the way that I handled myself and did everything in the ring for that little time, that was all Santana in my head telling me, okay, make sure you pose well, make sure you circle the ring how you usually circle the ring, like at least showcase your style in some way, and that will get some sort of attention. So that's what I did, and it honestly worked, because like if I had not did the pose that or like circled the ring like how I usually like, I would have been like another random person, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Because when I got on Twitter, everyone was saying how cool I was. So I'm like, look, I was like, wait, I had like 3 seconds in the ring, but they were just talking about everything else detail wise. I was like, okay, so this is what Santana meant, and this is how it actually does work out. So yeah, I think with that overall experience, you know, it is what it is. But I'm so thankful that I knew how to handle it.
Were you surprised by the reaction you got on social media? Because of course you have a lot of people that follow you from the independent scene, but like I remember when you had that match against Jade Cargill, like the reaction you had on social media, it was pretty cool to see, man. Like I saw a lot of people in my timeline was like, "Oh, Janai Kai's on Rampage," like you know, people were quote tweeting and tweeting stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that had to be like, you know, I know wrestlers, I know you guys want to be like, you know, you don't want to lean too much into the like the oh it's me type thing, but like I know that had to be like a real like sort of heartwarming thing to know that you had this whole fan base like so they was supporting you, man, and they was happy to see you on national television.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was definitely happy to like I was very grateful to see that, and to also like for more people to discover a new wrestler of a different style, like who want, like there was people I can tell that wanted to know more about me, so they would
Right.
look into my actual style and how I do wrestle because of the fact that I looked cool, and like I was like I looked different already. So like that was cool to see. And then other people, like I was definitely paying attention to the comments like on Instagram and everything,
It's hard not
and
to.
seeing what people were saying. It's hard not to,
Yeah.
but for the majority, people were, I'm thankful that people were telling other people who I was
Mm.
because they follow the independent scene. Um, so yeah, it was just great to like have all of that love. And yeah, I really hope now like I do come back and really showcase what I'm all about, because that was just of course like nothing. It was nothing. So so yeah, I really hope I do come back. I know there's people that did express that too, that want to see more. And yeah, it should be like it should be super crazy to come back. So I know they're coming to DC
Yep.
soon. So I hope
I was
that
just about
I'm
to say
part of
that.
that.
I was just about to say that.
So
Yeah.
if you come to DC, man, let me tell you, it's
Yeah.
gonna be on. It's gonna be on.
Just I was literally just about to mention. I was like, they coming back here. They two
Yeah.
nights. It's two nights live. So this isn't like Dynamite and out. They come.
And
They
it's legit like 20 minutes away where they're gonna be. So
yep. There we go. Sort of following up on what you just said, you didn't have much time in the match, but at a place where you would have a lot of time coming up, the debut show for Terminus in Atlanta, Jonathan Gresham and Baron Black's promotion, you're going to be facing Liza Hall to be a part of this debut show, and it's getting a lot of hype. It's going to be streaming live on Fight TV. They just announced Dave Prazak and Lenny Leonard are going to be on commentary, which is that's hella cool, especially considering Dave Prazak and you know his history of Shimmer and stuff. That's perfect. But like, how excited are you for the Terminus debut show? How excited are you to see how this thing is going to be shot and produced? Like, I have recently spoke to Baron Black and he was sort of teasing like the production style is going to be different, and it's like really bigging it up as he's supposed to as a co-promoter. But I think it's going to be exciting to see. How are you feeling going into it? Going up against Liza Hall. I'm not as familiar with Liza, but if you have anything to share about her as well, please do.
So for Terminus, I actually was listening to Baron and Gresham's interview that they had like a month ago. I was listening to it last night. And because I even wanted to know more, because there's still more that I'm wondering. So I wanted to make sure like I listen to what they say so I can like have a good picture in my head. But what is happening is actually very cool, because like going back to showcasing styles, this is another platform to showcase your specific style, but have that ability to wrestle how you love wrestling,
Right,
without the pressure of thinking, oh, I have to wrestle for this type of crowd because this is what they like. Because that does run through a lot of wrestlers' heads. Like typically the first thing they ask or think about is like, all right, how's the crowd out there? Like when we're at a show, it's that's usually the question. Like, oh, how's the crowd out there? What are they like? And like how is it feeling like? And that's usually that, like, having that mindset is okay because we are trying to like entertain them. But at the same time, we have to remember that we came into wrestling loving some sort of specific style or just something that influenced us. And we came in thinking like, okay, how do I like wrestling? How do I like seeing wrestling? And how do I want to wrestle? And so that's important to remember as years go by so that you don't lose yourself. So this, like, Terminus is kind of that representation of like these wrestlers wrestle a specific way because this is them. So like this is the platform to showcase who they really are. And I'm very grateful for that because, again, going back to how important my style is and shoot style and just like just having that different type of style in women's wrestling too, it's just very important to me. And I can't wait to completely showcase that coming up. And with Liza Hall, I actually haven't done my studying with her yet. But from what I heard, I saw Jordan Grace tweet this. She's kind of like a ZSJ, but like, yeah, the woman's ZSJ.
Okay.
So that's what Jordan said. I'm gonna check out her matches because I of course love studying my opponents. So I'm gonna see what she's all about, and I can't wait because she seems like somebody like that really gets it too. And after like hearing what Jordan said, like, I'm like, all right, we got this, and like I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to like how this is all going to look as well, because I don't even know how it's going to look, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's some high praise, man. That's some high praise. The female Zack Sabre Jr. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see you guys' style of matchup. But before we get out of here, Janai, please, anything you got to plug, your merch, social media, Twitch, Patreon, anything you got, please feel free to plug it. And I'll make sure to link it in the description of this video.
Yeah, so on Twitter and Instagram, it's Janai_Kai, JANAI_KAI. And so you can find me on there. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Janai Kai. I do have Patreon, actually. It's patreon.com/Janai Kai, where I actually post travel vlogs on there, photo shoots. I do daily blog posts like about my day. So you kind of get a hint of my private life too. And then I just do like random rambling sit down videos on there. So if you want to like see all of that, you can definitely join my Patreon. And yeah, I think that's the majority really that I've been like hyper focused on when it comes to my social media. So you can join and connect with me on there.
There you go. Everybody make sure to please go support her. Also, Janai, I'm thinking about it, possibly attending that Flying V show. I was already thinking about it, but I hopefully if I do attend, we'll probably get a chance to do a sit down interview. I'm hoping, probably in person.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah, come through.
For sure. I appreciate that. But Janai, I want to thank you for your time. It's been great talking to you. I can't believe I think it's been like an hour already. It didn't feel like it at all. But yeah, for sure. Yeah. Everybody go support it. Everything. All our links are going to be in the description of this video. I'm Andrew Thompson of the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, and I'm signing off with Janai Kai, and we are out. Peace.